A very good evening to you and welcome to RTV News with me, Fiona Mbabazi. We begin our edition by informing you that President Paul Kagame chaired a cabinet meeting this Friday afternoon at Village Rugwiro, during which different matters were discussed, including the country's continued fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the last cabinet meeting was held on the 11th of this month, which is, of course, November. We will be bringing you up to speed as soon as we have more details on what has gone on. President Paul Kagame has met and held talks with Israel's Minister of Communications, and discussions between the two dignitaries focused on further enhancing relations between the two countries. This comes after Israeli and Rwanda signed an agreement to boost ICT cooperation in different sectors. Sejnori kicks off tonight's edition with that story.
I believe it's good for both countries.
Yes.
The agreement encompasses sectors like agriculture, education, ICT, and boosting the private sector through the use of technology.
The partnership that we've had between the State of Israel and the government of Rwanda dates back to many years ago, and I think today's signing of an MOU or a collaboration agreement in the area of ICT and the area of technology and innovation is really just to cement further that long-standing relationship that we already had. But most importantly, I think what is also very unique about this collaboration that we're engaging in is that we're not just looking at a government-to-government partnership, but really finding ways where we can also get our business communities, our startup community to collaborate better, but also for us, like you rightly say, the different similarities that we have as countries, which we can, leverage in the learnings that we need as Rwanda also continues to grow.
Israel's Minister of Communications has also noted that both his country and Rwanda will benefit from the agreement.
The COVID-19 just gives us an opportunity to understand it deeply, how every citizen actually needs to have an opportunity to study from home, to learn, to get medical treatment from home, how to work from home when you are actually dealing with a pandemic situation. And I think that this MOU, it's not only a commitment of both countries and not only a path to learn from each other, but it also gives citizens of both countries new opportunities and new ideas. And as I said before, it's about people and about ideas and about commitment.
Rwanda and Israel have continued to enjoy very good bilateral relations.
The Rwandan government says construction work at Bugesera International Airport is going to be faster than before because Rwanda has already reached an agreement with Qatar on cooperation in this project. This was announced on Friday when the governments of Rwanda and South Korea signed an agreement allowing each country to use their airspace. The bilateral air service agreement between Rwanda and South Korea was signed this Friday. The Minister for Infrastructure, Ambassador Claver Gatete, indicated that this will promote trade between the two sides.
The factors of tourism is a very, very important factor. The factors of trade, the factors of other relationship, institutional relationship, and also learning from each other's experience and other things. So we consider so many other factors that would allow that movement of people, that movement of goods, that movement of services. In the case of Korea, we started already a long time ago, cooperating in the areas of the technology, as I mentioned. And now they are coming in many other areas, which are going to continue contributing to our bilateral cooperation. And we think this is a very good thing to do.
South Korean Ambassador Jin Wong-chai noted that the agreement strengthens the relations between the two countries, adding that his country already collaborates with Rwanda in the fields of agriculture, education and technology and will continue to do more.
This agreement, by creating greater chances for human exchange and human resources development between the two countries, would support Rwanda for achieving its development goals and targets set in Vision 2050. Positive trend in tourism despite the COVID-19 pandemic. I believe that our partnership in the new aspect today will contribute to building favorable conditions for post-COVID-19 recovery in Rwanda.
This is the 101st signatory in the agreements between Rwanda and South Korea. The Minister for Infrastructure, Ambassador Claver Gatete, says the expansion of international cooperation in the field of air travel is related to the expansion of Rwanda and other infrastructural growth at the Kigali International Airport. The Minister for Infrastructure also revealed that the governments of Rwanda and Qatar have already reached an agreement on the construction of Bugesera Airport.
Bugesera Airport, which has continued to be, of course, constructed. But now, as we conclude with Qatar, we are also going to speed up really the construction at a very high rate because we have been negotiating, but now we've reached the conclusion.
Construction work on Bugesera International Airport began in August 2017, where it was expected to be completed with a capacity of 4.5 million passengers per year. However, the Rwandan government has decided to double its capacity and sign a cooperation agreement on the project between Rwanda and Qatar. It is a new contract worth $1.3 billion to replace Rwanda's former with Portugal's Motal Egil, which was worth more than $800 million. When Rwanda and Qatar signed a new agreement in December 2019, it was announced that Qatar's stake in the project was 60%, while that of Rwanda was 40%. Now, research findings made public by the civil society organizations indicate its role in improving the welfare of citizens in collaboration with the government. Now, such efforts have resulted in poverty levels in the country falling from 58.8% in the year 2000 to 38.2% in 2017. Jane Mutoni with more.
Among the projects that have been contributed by NGOs in providing means of washing hands across the country and in schools, students say that this has been helpful. Before there was minimum cleanliness, but now children come from their homes and wash their hands first. It looks presentable now. One comes from the toilet or outside the school, then washes their hands first. The program of washing hands in school was successful as a result of some of the NGOs' contributions. The head of Remera Protestant Schools says they would have not afforded the hand washing facilities for all the students if it wasn't for the help of stakeholders. We had quite a few hand washing facilities, but now we have 12 more. I highly appreciate the contribution of NGOs because if it wasn't for them, it would have been a huge challenge for us. The spokesperson of civil society, Dr. Nkurunziza Joseph Gyarasa, says NGOs have prevailed in their projects due to the good governance in Rwanda. Because of the good governance, we are provided a conducive environment to achieve all this compared to other African countries. In other countries, it's hard to get the permission to work, especially for civil societies. The head of the network of international NGOs, Sean Kerrigan, says working hand in hand with the government results into more productivity.
The network of international NGOs is so proud to be partnering together with the government of Rwanda and the Rwandan Civil Society Platform to achieve the national strategy for transformation. We play a small role, but a significant role, in listening to people's voices and to helping them achieve their dreams.
The research that was conducted by NGOs showed that in the fiscal year 2018-2019, their contribution exceeded $196 million. The contribution had a massive impact in fighting poverty by a rate of 58.8% in 2000 and 38.2% in 2017, whereas in fighting malnutrition, there was an improvement by a rate of 47% in 2000 to 38% in 2018. The CEO of Rwanda Governance Board, Dr. Usta Kayitesi, thanks NGOs for their contribution to the development of the country. Some of the NGOs have established hand-washing facilities in schools, which is why, in my opinion, they play a big role in various sectors, including education, fighting poverty, and promoting the well-being of the people in rural areas. It's vital for us to create a partnership when it comes to increasing the GDP, promoting the well-being of the locals, and in regards to governance and justice. There are 1,508 NGOs and 173 civil societies in Rwanda. Jane Mutoni reporting for RTV.
Now, as the Rwanda Correctional Services mark a decade since its creation, officials here have thanked the government for helping them to progress.
Imyaka 10 tumaze kunguka ibikorwa byinshi
The last 10 years have seen us gain a lot when it comes to infrastructure at 13 prisons, and those years saw the construction of a number of new ones, 4 of them, and others are still under construction. We thank our government for making all of that possible. I cannot say that prison is a place you would want to go, because when you are incarcerated, you are separated from friends and family.
Now, officials in the Ministry of Justice have recommended the RCS for its efforts when it comes to the rehabilitation of inmates and promised continued support.
inzego za leta ndetse n'iz'abikorera twishimiye gukomeza gufatanya na Rwanda Correctional Service.
Government institutions and even the private sector are happy to continue working with the Rwanda Correctional Service and to collaborate in finding a lasting solution to the problem of crime. People have continued to commit crimes despite the fact that they can see that the concerned institutions are determined to root them out.
Now, the Rwanda Correctional Service was created by the Law Number 34/2010 of the 12th of November 2010. To business matters now, BPR executives have noted that the decision by the Atlas Mara to sell its shares in the bank to KCB will see all parties involved benefit because the two banks will now be able to collaborate when it comes to better service delivery. Now, KCB recently announced that it is going to buy 62% of the shares that Atlas Mara owns.
KCB executives have announced that negotiations for the deal have been concluded, and all that is left now is for it to be approved by the concerned authorities, and that the reason for this is to improve overall service delivery for both banks involved, as also noted by BPR's Chief Executive Officer.
The intention of this transaction is, and I think it was mentioned by the KCB Group CEO, is to consolidate the two operations, such that we have a much larger bank, in Rwanda. And the benefits of a much larger bank are obvious. So one, the combined banks will have a larger capital base, which means the bank will be able to offer larger credit facilities to customers than what each one of the banks can do on their own today. So that's good for customers because the new bank now will be able to finance much larger. On the other side as well, BPR has been a domestic bank. And so it's the access of the customers of BPR to the region has been non-existent. So KCB will bring these to their access immediately, because then BPR customers will become part of an East Africa banking group.
KCB executives have denied any intention to list BPR shares on Rwanda's stock exchange as their own shares are listed, saying their own shareholders will benefit from the agreement in another way.
KCB is listed as in the Nairobi Stock Exchange and is cross-listed in other stock exchanges or security exchanges markets in East Africa. This transaction is not about share swap. This transaction is about cash payment. It is okay to say that once the acquisition is complete, performance arising from that proportion will be consolidated in KCB performance.
There is also the matter of BPR shareholders.
Part of it also is that KCB Group will be making a separate offer to the other shareholders of BPR with an intention that if they would be willing to tag along with Atlas Mara, that KCB Group will also buy out those existing shareholders on the same terms as those that have been offered to Atlas Mara.
KCB was founded in 1896 and has the most branches of any bank in the region at 360, as well as 1,090 ATMs in other countries like Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Burundi, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. BPR, on the other hand, has been in operation here in Rwanda for more than 45 years and has the furthest reach in the country, with the biggest number of clients of any bank in Rwanda.
To agricultural matters now, farmers in Musanze and Nyabihu district are happy because of the fertilizers that are manufactured in Musanze, which have proven to be good not only for the crops but to the soil as well. Now, local authorities are encouraging the use of these fertilizers due to its contribution to the conservation of the environment. Jen Mutoni has more.
The project of producing fertilizers from waste collected from a rubbish dump site of Chuve in Musanze district and another from Sovu in Huye district began 2 years ago, though the actual fertilizers produced for market to be used by farmers started to be used in 2020. The fertilizers are being manufactured in a company called Bidec. As an employee, Dr. Musemakweli John explains why they decided to start this project.
Noneho twasanze ifumbire nyinshi ikorerwa hanze dukoresha.
We discovered that most of the fertilizers we use comes from abroad compared to fertilizers produced in Rwanda, yet there is nothing special in it. So we decided to work side by side with the government by supporting farming through making these fertilizers that have been proven to increase the harvest and good for the soils. The fertilizers are produced from biodegradable wastes collected from rubbish dump sites. The head of Bideg, Ngarukiye Evariste, explains the process by which these fertilizers are produced.
Tuvangura ibishingwe hano. We first
separate biodegradable wastes from degradable wastes. Fertilizers are made from the biodegradable wastes through these machines by filtering it, then mixed with cow dung and other wastes to produce fertilizers that are perfect for the crops, which decomposes from 6 to 9 days. Pack it in sacks to be transported by different suppliers to be used. Some of the farmers in Musanze and Nyabihu explained the difference that they noticed in these fertilizers from other fertilizers they used before. I've been using these fertilizers for a year now. I've tried it on various crops and even in the greenhouse. As you have seen, the average potatoes have grown well, and I would rate its productivity to 100%. One sack of other fertilizers costs 7,500 Rwandan francs, while our fertilizers cost 5,000 a sack and 100 Rwandan francs for 1 kilogram. On one hand, many of the locals are not yet aware of these fertilizers. Dr. Musemakweli requires local officials to encourage people to use it. We ask local officials to help us encourage the locals to use these fertilizers. The mayor of Musanze district, Nomuremyi Janine, encourages the locals to use these fertilizers because it's healthy for the soil, as she also noted that anyone willing to support the farmers in the farming business shall be supported. We are willing to support this company that has brought fertilizers in our area, as I also use this opportunity to encourage our people to use proper fertilizers together with these fertilizers. Currently, there are machines in the rubbish dump site of Chuve in Musanze capable of making 80 to 100 tons of fertilizers per day, while in the rubbish dump site of Sovu in Huye district, 50 to 70 tons are produced daily. The production of the fertilizers is expected to rapidly increase due to its low market. Jen Mutoni reporting for RTV.
Welcome back. My name's Gahima Dixon and you're watching RBA. It's time for some international news. Hundreds of people have been given life sentences for attempting to topple Turkey's government 4 years ago, a defining moment in the rule of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. It is one of the biggest cases related to the failed coup during which more than 250 people were killed.
Dixon Gahima, my guest anchor, is now in studio. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Dixon.
Thank you very much, Fiona. I'm still trying to get my breath.
How was that experience?
I don't want to experience it again. I don't.
Really?
God. I didn't know it's that hard.
This reading is quite simple. I thought it's quite easy.
It's not simple at all. It's not simple. How much do you get paid?
Don't get me fired. Huh? How would you best describe yourself, Dixon?
Describing myself, I will say I'm a blessed father, a loving father, and a good guy, nice guy. Blessed, that's all. Blessed, loving father. That's me.
How long have you been then in the media industry, and how did you get into the Rwandan media industry?
I will say I've been in the media industry. I won't say media as such, but I'll say I've been with the radio industry ever since I was a kid. The day I joined the S1, actually. That's when I entered media. Because I used to go back home and imitate other people when I was listening to them. So I wouldn't exactly say how old. I've been with the mic for a very long time because I really enjoy talking to people.
Then how did you know then that you belong, in front of the microphone, on radio or even TV?
Do I belong on TV? I'm not so sure about that, but I belong to the radio. I knew that I belonged to radio. The first day I was on the mic officially was on Radio Flash. And by the time I got out of the studio, the reception was packed with a few guys, people, mothers, kids. They just wanted to see who is this guy, where has he been? I was actually talking about forgiveness by that time. And everybody was like, we want to see this pastor. But I wasn't a pastor. They thought I was a pastor. So they wanted to see me. And ever since then I decided, I always wanted to talk to people, actually. So I got stuck.
How easy was it for you to make a mark back in the days? Because I remember very well, listening to you on radio, mixing Luganda, English, a bit of Kenya, Rwanda. How easy was it to make a mark?
It was very, very easy. To me, it was very easy because when I got on radio, actually, they told me to be who I am. Okay? They're not you guys. You're professional. So I didn't do that. I just got on the mic and I presented a Luganda show. A Luganda show. That was when it went on fire and everybody was listening. Radio was how do they call it? Commercial radios.
Yeah.
There were not very many. So it was so easy. It was so simple. We were very few guys. We were how many? We were very few talented guys. Yeah.
As Hume on radio, what was your, signature introduction to radio? So that people, you maybe just remind people.
You want me to do that right now? For real?
Yes.
You're going to get yourself fired.
Keep it neat and simple.
How can I do that right here? Because this is TV. On radio, you're funny. You just, I used to say in Kinyarwanda, my morning show, the one I used to do was, I used to make the Mwaramtse very, very, very long. And I go on, then I can say Neza. Then I go Majaruguru Majiefa Brangera Zube Brasra Bwario no Muji Hagat. Murakazanez. That was it.
What are some of the challenges you faced in the media industry along the years?
And I'm still facing those challenges now. I'm not very good with Kinyarwanda, and I'm still learning it up to now. So one of my biggest challenges was speaking Kinyarwanda on radio. So people didn't like it at first. So people used to call me, and they used to even to tell my boss, Albert, what are you doing with our air? What are you doing with our radio? Can't you get guys who can speak better Kinyarwanda? Why do you have that guy on air? And even some of the people we were working with were like, why don't you just speak English? I said, but I want to learn Kinyarwanda. And I enjoyed speaking Kinyarwanda on air because it was fun, and at the same time I was learning, and I was presenting a show, and I was getting paid. So my biggest problem was being fluent in Kinyarwanda. And I couldn't be that fluent. So I had a co-host who used to help me out called Kelly. So that was my only challenge that I had, actually. Being fluent in Kinyarwanda, and some people didn't like. They used even to call me on air live. Say, can you just go back where you came from?
Oh, really?
Can you just stop and get off air? My boss told me, yeah, you know what? Stick to it. You will learn along the way. You'll get Kinyarwanda by. And then I caught up.
Eventually
I did.
Before I go to the question about the next pop star that you're involved with, many people, on Twitter asked, is he a comedian? Is he more of a media personality? Is he more of a motivator? Because, most of your shows apparently motivate a lot of people,
I like the motivating part. I'm a motivator. I'm a motivator. I won't say I'm a media personality because I'm not with media all the time. No. I'm not on social media. I'm not on radio all the time. I'm more of a motivator. Yeah.
So the next pop star, what's this all about,
The next pop star now. The next pop star is a music competition whereby people already registered. They registered a long time ago. It's been a few months now. They registered. We started selecting. They were sending their videos virtually.
Virtually.
And then we selected the 60, then we selected the 20. Now we are getting to the last 10, to the last 6, up to the main guy, the star himself, the pop star that we want to create. Because we want to build, or I want to say to build, we want to make the industry better. It is good, yes, but we want to make it better, and we want to give some of the young people out there an opportunity, a platform. And we want people in this industry to understand how big this thing is. The musicians are like a big company. So the way they run them is not a business yet. So we want to show them that this is who a pop star is. This is how he makes money, or this is how she makes money. We want to take him to the international scene. We are not only going to deal with Africa, we are going to deal internationally. We want these guys to meet people abroad, work with Sony Music, SM1, Network Showbiz. More Events is the one which are organizing it from here. They stand for those companies. They stand for SM1. They represent Network Showbiz. They've been working with them for quite some time. So the next pop star is a singing competition, and I think that's all I can say. And
the grand prize.
The grand prize.
50 million. Is this a reality, Dixon?
Definitely.
Will be complaining the next few months saying, Marat Kwambwe.
No. I don't think so. And we are not expecting that. Because they are big companies we are working with. And I don't think we can't bring something that is, what can I say? That we are lying to people and we bring it to RBA. You understand? This is international TV. Because we are working with KC2, your baby channel. So the 50 million is there and is going to be given out. But this guy, on the hand, he will have to take like, let me say 10 millions, but the other 40 will be working on his projects. Like going to shoot videos, producing songs for him, 2 videos for him, his management, the team, stuff like that. Yeah.
As we sum up, to those who are watching us, who probably want to be motivators, who want to be media personalities, who from other countries have also joined the Rwandan media industry and feel they're not yet comfortable to fit in, what would be your advice to them? Let
yourself go. Let yourself loose. Spread your wings. You'll learn things along the way. I never expected I could speak in Rwanda. I never expected I could get on air or motivate people using Kinyarwanda. I never expected that. Because when I got on the mic, I didn't even speak anymore, when I started, when I came to Rwanda. So let yourself loose. Let yourself go. Spread your wings. You will correct yourself along the way. Along the way. You can't be perfect at the beginning. Absolutely. Don't be afraid. I was going to say Kinyarwanda. So you have the seed in you already. It is already in you. Let yourself go. Water that seed. If at all you want to be with media, please, you can make it in Rwanda. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't because you are not from Rwanda. You can make it.
Absolutely. There's space for everyone to grow.
For everybody.
Absolutely. Well,
Definitely.
Thank you very much, Dixon, for making time to be with us.
Thank you very much, Fiona, for letting me read the news. It is stressful.
Well, as usual, my name is Fiona Mbabazi. Thank you very much for joining us. Have yourselves a lovely evening and enjoy the rest of your Friday. And do remember, please keep safe. Wear your face masks correctly. Wash your hands regularly and thoroughly with soap and water. Social distancing. And together, let's flatten the curve of COVID-19.